So before every talk, I like to stretch my fingers. So that's my routine. But today, I would like all of you to do this with me. Okay, so when I say 3, crack your fingers. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah, that sounded nasty. So believe it or not, what happened were bubbles. Thousands of bubbles just popped inside your fingers. And we call this phenomenon cavitation. So you could hear it, so that's nice, but it would be really cool if you could see it. And now, pay good attention, because if you're oblique, you'll miss it. Ready? Ah, made a mess. Told you I should be the last one. Sorry about that. So, did you see it? No, probably not. Because what happened in there were bubbles appearing and disappearing within 1 millisecond. And to see them, what we need to have is high-speed cameras. We don't have one here, so I prepared a small presentation what just happened. So when I hit the flask moved down, and the water kind of tried to stay at place. And because of that, we got a tension wave, water became under tension, and what happened is we got almost vacuum at the bottom. And because of that, the bubbles began to grow. So this looks something like this in slow motion. So it takes kind of a long time, still under 1 millisecond, for the bubble to grow. But then the water stops, right? And at that moment, a pressure wave comes back to the bubble cannot take it, and what happens is the bubble implodes. The walls of the bubble hit each other, and the pressure inside it rises to about 100 megapascal. That's about 1,000 times higher pressure what we have here right now. At that moment, we have the shock wave, something like what you've heard right now. But what happens is we have this shock wave traveling at about 5,000 kilometers per hour, hitting the wall of the bottle and breaking it. And this is what happened in your fingers. So that's one experiment you don't want to repeat, right? Okay, so cavitation was discovered by Newton. So these guys basically screwed us over for gravitation and cavitation. And engineers really hate it, because it damages pumps, turbines, valves, even rockets literally fell out of the sky because of these bubbles, right? So there's a really, really big dark side to these bubbles. But our research is thinking, can we maybe turn the bubbles around, away from the dark side, and use their force to help the humankind in some way? And this is what we do. And the story starts basically in your bathroom. So you go to the toilet, you do your thing, and you forget about it, right? But this black hole that everybody has in his house or her house leads someplace, and it leads to a wastewater treatment plant. So a lot of this waste, nicely called, comes to the wastewater treatment plant, and a lot means about the size of this auditorium every hour. So that's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned. And we figured out how to clean it, not we, the engineers before us. What they do, is they use mechanical and biological treatment of water to clean it up. But the problem is some of this waste still remains, and even the bacteria who usually likes to eat this shit doesn't really like it. And the problem is quite simple. I have some example here. So we have this nasty stuff which is gathered in these pools. The bacteria comes, it smells it, it smells really, really nicely, but when it wants to eat it, it's kind of hard, right? So what we figured out is maybe if we use bubbles, if we use our device and push this sludge through the water, what we can do is help the bacteria eat it faster. So we made a device which looks nothing like this thing here. So that's just for demonstration. If it will work, it doesn't work, unfortunately. So this would be mixed up, and the bacteria would eat it nicely. But the problem with it is when it eats it, it starts building up gas. So, the bacteria really cannot keep the gas inside itself, right? So it's producing more and more gas. And the nice thing about the gas, the nice thing about it, is it's biogas. More or less, it's methane. And we can harvest that methane. Bacteria just goes there and then starts to let me just prepare this. It starts producing methane, a lot of it, and really, really fast. And we learned how to harness it in our pools. And like this, what we get is free energy from bacteria. And we get so much energy that we can drive our cavitation devices and produce even more to heat up other stuff. So basically, we're using the bacteria for free energy, green energy, by the power of bubbles. Thank you.